Today we are going to explore a very special topic, equine therapy. Many people are still unaware of the benefits that this practice can have in the lives of people, especially those who have some kind of disability. But today we are going to delve deeper into it. In addition, I had the privilege of visiting Lorenzo Lugarelli, president of the Spanish Association of Equine Therapies, at his farm where he lives with his horses in civil liberty, where you will see how we live several adventures. And the impressive thing is that you can also witness how an equine therapy session transforms the life of a group of children with autism. My name is Albert Cervera, and I am specialized in the humanization and renaturalization of organizations. Join me. Equine therapy, as its name suggests, uses horses as a therapeutic tool to help people improve their quality of life. The benefits of this practice are many: physical, psychological, and emotional. Equine therapy has its origins in ancient Greece, where horses were used to help rehabilitate soldiers wounded in battle. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, wrote about the therapeutic benefits of horseback riding. He went so far as to state that horseback riding is the most important sport there is, as it not only strengthens the body, but also calms the spirit. And in the Middle Ages, horses were used to improve the health and fitness of knights. In the 1940s, equine therapy began to be used as a form of rehabilitation for soldiers wounded in World War II. And it wasn't until the 1950s that equine therapy began to be used in the rehabilitation of people with disabilities. But why are horses so appropriate for this therapy? Why is such a large animal appropriate for this type of therapy? Horses, in short, are amazing animals. Since I was very young, I have been in close contact with them, and the truth is that I could only tell wonderful things about them. On the one hand, horses are very intuitive animals and have the ability to perceive the emotions and needs of the people around them. They are what we call true mirrors. This makes them perfect for working with people who have some kind of disability. On a physical level, the rhythmic movement of horses is very similar to human walking. Riding them stimulates their nervous system and sends impulses from the spinal cord that reach the brain and neurons that synapse and cause some dormant areas of the brain to go to work. This is especially beneficial for people who have some form of cerebral palsy and can also be very beneficial for people with physical or intellectual disabilities, as it helps improve posture, coordination, and muscle strength. Most importantly, horses are able to establish a very special connection with people with disabilities. This connection can be very powerful and have a very positive impact on their lives. Horses are very patient and loving animals. They can help people with disabilities develop social and emotional skills, improve their self-esteem, and feel more confident and comfortable in their environment. I went to visit Lorenzo at his farm, and as I am always involved in 1,000 stories, I started first thing in the morning at a meeting of entrepreneurs. On the way, I stopped at a radio station to talk about the humanization of social and healthcare environments, and finally I was able to slow down when I arrived at his farm in the middle of an incredible natural environment. Lorenzo is the president of the Spanish Association of Chemotherapists and has dedicated his whole life to the world of horses. When we arrived, he introduced us to his horses, who live in semi-freedom, and told us some very curious anecdotes, such as how they gathered together so strategically to chase away the annoying flies that land on their ears through the movement of their tails, which, as you can see, drives the flies away, or that they were shedding their thick winter coat to give way to a softer and lighter coat now that spring-summer is beginning. I came to share with Lorenzo a humanization project we are carrying out in a center for people with intellectual disabilities, in which we are transforming their environment and in which I want to introduce horses into their daily lives. I wanted to validate some hypotheses with him and know his vision. But while we're at it, let's hear Lorenzo's vision of chemotherapy.
In these therapies, the protagonist must be nothing more and nothing less than the horse. And this is because of their sensitivity, the way they naturally interpret our emotions, our gestures, and our position, how we move in a herd environment. And by interpreting this, they tell us, they react, and we, the professionals, can interpret what happens in the person depending on the horse's reaction. If you let the animal free, it teaches you a lot, explains to you, provokes you to react at a time when you may be distrustful, angry, or absent-minded. The animal focuses you again, because for them it is a matter of life or death. For us it's not. We don't have natural predators, and when I'm with the horses, I have to be centered, I have to be there, because if not, I bite you, or they step on your foot on purpose. Maybe it's done in the clueless, but they put their foot on top of yours and you realize I was clueless, I wasn't here. I think that's the main thing. Horses sense our emotions, like all animals in general, but the horse is very special, it's very appropriate by nature, it's very symbiotic with the human. people with intellectual disabilities, if there are people who have mental health problems, this mirror effect, this reflection effect that horses make of our emotions, is important to allow us professionals to channel our efforts and to make people see what they are really doing, what they are really communicating, even though in words they are telling you something else. And they may be convinced that they are saying something else, that they want to say something else, but in reality, with their body, with their gestures, with their emotions, they are communicating something different. And horses allow us to see this and to make it visible to people. The horse, the first thing it does is to stimulate attention. So even people with attention deficit syndrome are attentive, even if not for long. They are attentive, maybe not for a long time, but they have to be attentive because this 500-kilogram animal coming at you has an impact, so it provokes attention. An autistic child was once here who was 19 years old. His parents didn't know that he could talk because he had never spoken. I don't know if it was in the third or fourth session. The guy riding the horse raises his head, very excited, saying, Mom, am I doing it right? And the mother outside the stadium started crying and said, my son is talking to me. That has been one of the most striking anecdotes of these 20-something years of working with horses.
When we were about to finish the interview, they told Lorenzo that the horses had escaped and we decided to go after them. So we got in the truck to look for them, and it was a very nice experience in which we went back through the valley with them, walking and riding them. You see, you know how it starts, but never how it ends. Lorenzo invited me another day to participate in a session that was going to take place with a group of children with autism in an equestrian center. And I can tell you that it is wonderful to see firsthand how they interact with the horses and how they change during that short period of time with them. Think that people with disabilities are used to saying that they can't do things from a very young age. We can't even imagine the sense of freedom they experience after being in a wheelchair or bed all day and suddenly being on a horse like this. It is unbelievable. Arba, who is a psychologist and coordinator of this group of children and is the one who observes them closely, explains the benefits of this therapy for them.
Above all, for me, I have focused on children with autism. Stability when walking, which is very difficult for them to achieve. A good body position, because they tend to stand up. A good bond. Children with autism find it very difficult to look them in the eye. Therefore, the bond they form with the horse seems spectacular to me. Emotions for them. Expressing their emotions is very complicated, and with the horse it is something innate that comes from within. The animal does not judge them, and I probably think that, like the horses, they don't judge them. They can interact openly, something that perhaps with humans, as they tend to judge more and ask for more concrete things for them, it is complicated for them. On the other hand, with horses, the bond is totally different. It is a precious bond. It is totally natural what is created.
Although you only had to look at them to see how much they had enjoyed and improved with the session, I encouraged them and asked them directly how they had experienced it. At first they were too embarrassed to speak on camera, but eventually they plucked up the courage and ended up joking with everyone that they were going straight to Hollywood.
Yes, I liked it very much. I think I liked it very, very, very much. It has calmed me down, and now I feel very happy.
The connection that is established between the person and the horses is something magical and special that can have a profound impact on their lives, and especially with people with disabilities. Horses are faithful and loving companions that can help people overcome their barriers and reach their full potential. If you ever have the opportunity to experience equine therapy, don't hesitate. I assure you it will be an unforgettable experience. Thank you very much for joining me in this adventure. I hope you liked it. Write me in the comments if you would like me to cover a specific topic in the following videos, and I will be happy to do so. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe and hit the bell and all these things if you don't want to miss the next videos. And most importantly, have a nice day.